Hi, everyone. Welcome to People Watch, the official podcast of the People Management Association of the Philippines.
Here, there are no motherhood statements, no hiding behind obsolete theories and adages, and no time to beat around the bush.
Just real talk with real people. I'm Joe Vinier, and I'll be hosting this show with my favorite co-host, kasi siya lang naman talaga mag-isang host ko. Ms. Joan Chong, back from outside of the country again. Hi, Ms. Joan.
Ang sarap no? Hi Joe. How is your energy today? I love your energy.
Yeah, I'm having coffee, and everybody's medyo anxious about Betty coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I hope na hindi po maglandfall and it will not do damage to anyone, even outside of the Philippines, because I heard tumama siya sa Guam.
Mm-hmm.
Medyo malakas. So
Malakas,
we know
no?
how it feels. Like, here in Cebu, we had Odette, and it was disastrous. But how about you, Ms. Joan? How was your travel?
It was good. It was really cold, actually. It's nice and relaxing for a change. No?
So you
Yeah.
went to which one? You went to North
I went to
Korea?
Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, North Korea area. Oh my gosh, this is recorded, right?
But next time, you should invite us. When you
Oo
travel.
naman. I'll send pictures.
You invite us, please, so that we can tag along. And today
Yeah.
we have a very, very interesting topic as we welcome everybody to episode 8.
That's right.
Parang Star Wars,
Um,
series, nasa 8 na tayo.
Actually, I was supposed to ask you nga if kaya natin i-sustain yung energy natin today. Kasi
Yes.
gusto ko lang talaga ipasok yung word na sustainability.
Galing mo ha. Sige. Baka pwede namang i-recycle ko lahat ng mga jokes ko para magamit din yung word na recycle.
Di ba? Ano yun eh. Dapat sustain natin talaga yung
Yes.
yung
Because
jokes.
of yung kasama na yun, di ba? Yung climate change, yung the things that we're doing badly sa
Yeah, the
environment.
footprint that we're leaving, di ba? Sa Earth. Di ba? How do we stop
Yes.
the...
Sa akin, footprint kasi dalawa talaga.
Oo nga, no? Bakit footprint, no? Dalawa naman.
Sige, let's ask probably yung guest natin. So, let's not keep the suspense on hold. Ms. Joan, can you
Right.
introduce our guest today?
Yes, our guest today is currently the OD Consulting Head of Nomura Research Institute, Manila office. NRI is one of the leading global think tanks, fintech, and management consulting companies. He is also the immediate past president of the Philippine Society for Talent Development. Aside from his 25 years of leadership experience in HR, OD, talent development, quality management, risk management, and corporate performance management, he is also a DEI certified facilitator, a professional scrum master, certified MBTI facilitator, and certified ISO lead auditor. As a facilitator, he has designed and conducted training locally and abroad on a wide range of topics focusing on leadership strategy, culture building, innovation, quality, team building, and personal effectiveness. Ang haba, no? But yeah, very, very experienced, no? So he is one of the leading voices and opinion leaders in sustainability culture in the Philippines. Let's all welcome Mr. Juan Roy, or June.
Hi, Sir June.
Good morning.
Welcome to People Watch.
Good morning, Jobs. And good morning, Joanne. Napansin ko lang tatlong J, Joanne,
Oo nga.
Jobs,
Lahat
and
namin,
June. Oo.
lahat ng guests namin sa letter J, lahat.
Oo, sadya yan, qualification.
Hindi naman sinadya, no?
Magkakaubusan ng letter J dito. How are you, sir? How are you?
Yeah, I feel great. Yeah, and it's I'm happy to be back into your podcast. I remember last time I had the same chance to talk about diversity and inclusion naman.
Yeah, sa sa on-cam.
On cam. This is a
Yeah.
podcast naman.
Right. So, sustainability. Alam mo, Sir June, not many people know how we can relate sustainability with the HR practice. Kasi PMAP tayo di ba? So, paano ba natin kukonect yan?
Ayun, magandang tanong. So, first, we need to understand what sustainability is because it's commonly associated with environment, no? But if we look at sustainability on a wider horizon, it's really about the meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So that's how UN defined it. And in the corporate, it's more focused towards what we call the ESG, which is environment, social, and governance. And the outcome of this will impact what we call the triple bottom line, which is people, planet, and profit or progress. So if we look at that perspective, and if we use ESG, social and governance is really HR in nature in so many ways. Mobilizing people towards what we call environmental awareness is also what we call HR perspective. So what we are driving at is to move sustainability beyond the compliance, the reporting, the technical aspect, towards embedding it into the consciousness of every employee. Because look at it, no? If how many employees we have in the Philippines collectively, that's millions, right? So imagine if all these employees become advocate of sustainability. So that's a powerful collective force, right?
Multiplier, no?
Multiplier effect exponentially. And who would mobilize them? Who would embed into their consciousness? That requires culture building. That requires capacity building. And no offense to finance, that's not a finance job. That's an HR job, right? So yun yung relationship.
Sila yung napoprovide ng budget para sa snacks.
Ayun, kailangan natin sila.
Importante yun.
Importante.
But so Jude, ito kasi yung concern because, we've been observing how HR does CSR. Para na ring ritualistic yung the usual programs natin. And you're right. Is it really sustainable or once a year, nagtitree planting tayo, naglilinis tayo, nag-coastal cleanup, we have recycling programs, for example. And that's the majority of the efforts being done.
Right.
And you mentioned, on the side chat kanina before we started, that that's not sustainability per se, right?
It's part of it, but it's not the total spectrum of sustainability. Kumbaga yung relationship niya, the social responsibility, it remains to be the driving spirit. Kaya lang, ang naging problem, we look at CSR as an event, as a program.
Yes.
But in reality, the term itself, social responsibility, which is at the corporate, it's really a spirit behind it. So moving that spirit, harnessing that, so that it's embedded into the consciousness of people. And what do we mean by this? What we mean is that even if there is no CSR program or activity, when the same employee steps out of the office, he is still the same person who advocates the environment, social, and governance.
So it's
kasi naka-embed sa kanyang consciousness yun or conscience.
Hindi siya superficial, sir, na parang
It's
compliant.
not.
Like sa bahay kasi sa amin, di ba, may recycling kami sa basura. Like, meron ba kayo, siguro Miss John, meron din tayo.
Segregation, di ba?
Waste segregation.
Ano nga yung term na disposable? Kasi sa amin talaga napaka-thorough. Meron kaming 7 baskets.
Wow.
Okay.
Masisira today, masisira bukas, masisira. Lipat-lipat, parang nagsusungka.
Tira na.
I'm just imagining kung saan pa nakapwesto yung pito na yun.
Tapos yung pag hindi mo natapon ngayon, ilipat mo muna sa second basket para naman mag-negotiate. But the things that we do, it seems like you were right. It's an event. It's a photo op, pang Facebook, pang Instagram. So, ano po kailangan natin, Sir Jun, if we really have to go deeper into what sustainability should be?
Ayun, that's the most important question. So, sa amin sa NRI, we have the 4C model of embedding sustainability into the conscience. So, to make it short, it's about capacity building or capability building and then culture building. But prior to that, ang patutunguhan noon, it's about embedding it into their conscience. So, it's what we call conscience-driven sustainability culture, because when you embed sustainability, malasakit, if you may, no, into the conscience of people, then they can commit deeply into sustainability practices and behaviors within their organizations, in their families, and in their homes, no, or in their communities. And then, but for that commitment and that conscience to be enabled, you need to provide capacity or capability building. So what are we talking about? We're talking about sustainability leadership training program. We're talking about even as simple as ESG or Sustainability 101 that builds awareness and commitment. We're talking about advocacy training so that every member in the organization becomes advocate of sustainability practices. And then once there is capacity building, that prepares them or the organization towards what we call culture building. So mayroon tayong, di ba, digital culture, customer culture, we even have agile culture, but why not sustainability culture? So that sustainability culture, in the words of some of our clients, very powerful, to make sustainability a way of life. So that's the powerful translation of what we mean by culture. So apat na siyon. Culture building,
commitment,
conscience driven, which is malasakit, and that translates to people committing to sustainability behaviors and practices on their own. They become advocates.
Yes.
But for that to be executed or operationalized, they need to be capable. So may capability building, and then for that to become sustainable and holistic, kailangan ng culture building. And all of that will be driven by HR.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kaya ayaw ko na mag-HR, Ms. Joan.
ang broad na ng scope, no? It's not just about people anymore. Right
It's
now,
not.
it all expanded already outside the workplace, diba? It's about the environment. But how do we promote this? Like, there are some companies that still are not conscious. Diba? You said it has to be embedded in their consciousness. Parang
Ano nangyari sa kanila, Miss? Ano nangyari sa kanila, Miss Joan? Hinimatay sila, hindi na sila conscious.
Diba? We have to revive.
I love your jokes.
I said, thank you, sir. Good. I'm being paid for a successful joke.
It landed so well.
Thank you. And may follow-up question pala ako, Sir June, sa sinabi ni Miss Joan. From CSR to ESG, may nabago bang fundamentals along the way?
It's the focus. Walang nabago because the focus of CSR in many organizations is on creating programs, right? But if you really go into what corporate social responsibility is all about, it's really taking a sense of responsibility. So yung conscience and commitment doon sa 4C model, the one that would drive that is when you embed a sense of social responsibility to people through education. So hindi dapat mawala yon. So it's about shifting the focus of CSR into what it should be, which is a sense of social responsibility. In our language, it's very powerful. Malasakit.
Yes.
Diba? Malasakit. So you can't have an effective ESG without malasakit or without a strong sense of social responsibility, both as a corporation or as an organization and as individuals. So it's really about shifting the focus from program-driven to something that is conscience-driven.
This will be supported by like trainings you mentioned.
Oh, yes.
Like what kind of trainings? It's more of awareness?
The starting point is awareness building, which is in other companies, they call it ESG 101 or Sustainability 101. And then what we provide is a simple framework na pwedeng you can actually remodel or redesign your ESG 101 or awareness to make it sure that the 3H are covered. What are those 3H? The head, that means you know something about sustainability. The heart, that means you embrace your social responsibility, the malasakit. And most importantly is the commitment, which is the hand. So anong gagawin ko ngayon, no? What are the actionable points that I can do as a result of this orientation? So even if you do that for 1 hour, 2 hours, we've done a whole day ESG 101. It's very powerful if you design it that those 3H are covered. No, so that's one. The other is what we call sustainability leadership training. How do you now develop leaders to become advocates and champions of sustainability so that they themselves will drive sustainability in their own departments or functions and in the entire organization. So they become the culture champions towards sustainability. In the same manner that you're doing that, as I said, for other culture subsets like digital culture, innovation culture, right?
Sila palagi yung drivers, no?
Yeah, oo. So, pero nawawala yung sustainability culture. Hindi pa siya ganap.
Malayo pa, sir, no?
Malayo pa, oo. So that's where we can start, no? In terms of training. So, I would just to summarize, I would propose or recommend 3 types of important training. The fundamentals, which is the ESG or Sustainability 101. Second is the sustainability advocacy training, which is deepening their commitment, providing them generally skills to become advocates. So this is for all employees. And for the leaders, it's what we call sustainability leadership training. It doesn't have to be an entirely separate program. It can be embedded into the existing leadership development or management development programs.
And are there templates for this? Like, do you
Yeah.
have ready courses available?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
Miss,
are.
I would like to ask as well, aside from the template, meron ho ba saan ho ba tayo pupunta for resources?
Yeah,
Mhm.
there are. Yeah, there are templates. There are resources. We also have one. Unfortunately, in the Philippines, many of, if not most, of the publicly listed companies and even the big conglomerates are not yet into the sustainability training beyond the 101. I have yet to hear a company that has really embarked on culture building, except for 2 clients that we have that are already starting on this, right? So we have the templates, but the fundamental tool that they can use is identifying the competencies required for sustainability. And there are 2 models right now available free. No, one is what it's called inner development goals. So these are the competencies or capabilities designed to promote sustainability and to achieve what we call sustainable development goals. So IDG yon, no? The inner development goals. Another model is what we call green comp. So green competency. So this model is developed by EU or European Union. So yun yung pwedeng maging backbone. And from there, from these competency models that companies can adopt or use as a reference, then they can come up with their own training program that is aligned towards building the sustainability competency models, either IDG, inner development goals, or green com, or a mix of both, customized.
So these competencies, like there's a competency for social responsibility. Is that
For
what you mean?
sustainability, yes, kasama yung social
sustainability.
response. Yeah, yun yung
Okay.
yun yung mismong IDG, which is inner development goal, and parallel, that's your green comp, green competency.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's one question that's always, foremost in the minds of anybody who wants to go into ESG, for example. What's the cost, sir? Kasi sabi nila ESG daw, yung E expensive. Is it really? I mean, to go into something, that's far-reaching in terms of impact to the environment and to the way that we live our lives. Ganun ba talaga ka-costly yung exercise na yan?
Okay, that depends on the business and the strategy of the company. So it can be costly, it can be cost efficient, depending on the financial capacity of the company. So for example, if we talk about the micro, medium, small enterprises, obviously they cannot pour in that huge amount of money, just like the big corporations whose reputation is at stake if they don't put investment towards sustainability or ESG. No, so if your budget is limited, right? Can you still advocate and promote ESG?
Yeah.
Yes. Where? No? In so many ways. For example, we can embed sustainability and ESG into your onboarding program, which is already existing, di ba? Ino-orient naman lahat ng empleyado. Dadagdagan mo lang yung topic. Kung gumagastos ka na dati ng kape, it's the same coffee that you are spending. So there's no additional expense there.
Recycled coffee.
There is what we call the culture hack, and I like the idea of culture hack because it's free. For example, you can embed and culture hack the meetings so that it integrates or it embeds ESG or sustainability. Paano? Talk about diversity and inclusion and equity being part of the social aspect of ESG, right? So how can you embed that in the meeting? Simple, diba? You make your meetings in terms of its norms and expectations adaptive of the EIB, right? So you can set norms. You can train leaders to be more inclusive in the way they listen to their ideas or to the ideas of others. You can incorporate a basic environmental awareness, diba? Clean as you go. So these are just examples of how companies can integrate sustainability without having to spend so much cost. But we also know that certain industries has to because of the very nature of their business. So for example, if you are in manufacturing, your manufacturing process has to be sustainable. And if it is not, it would hurt your business. So it's a must that you really have to invest in that, into that direction. Otherwise, if you're dealing with companies and you are a supplier, they would really require and they would really look at your sustainability practice. So kailangan talaga. So there is an expensive version, there is a free version, and there is a minimal or cost-efficient version.
I think it's how determined a company is, right? Because if you're committed and determined, you'll find ways.
Yes. It's how determined and it's how creative and how committed you are. Sabi nga nila in our language, diba? Kung gusto, may paraan.
May paraan, yeah.
Very good.
And
kung ayaw, may dahilan.
And sometimes I see it's possible for if we practice this, it becomes efficient. And in effect, that leads to cost savings as well, right? In the long run.
Right.
Yeah.
It does. Oo. Saka yung din is associate natin doon that sustainability it's not only about environment. Kaya kung ESG nga yan, there is the social, how people treat each other. So for example, if you look at the way your employees interact in the internet, nakikipagbardagulan ba yan? Nag-i-spread ba ng fake news? Diba? Do they are they victims or are they culprits of bullying or creating more chaos in the social media? So the way they would socially the social responsibility aspect of using social media is part of sustainability. So when you train people towards that through campaigns, promotions, and all, how much do you really spend?
Yeah.
I would say almost nothing.
Yes.
Except your energy and the time for it, right?
And plus they pay their data kung nagpalagi sila on social media, but that's their concerns. Very good point. Yes, very good point, Sir June and Ms. Joan. It has been a very engaging discussion and parang lumalaki yung picture niya. Hindi siya nagiging superficial, hindi siya mababaw na hanggang recite. I mean, the small.
Yes, malawak talaga. We have to expand the scope away, not away, but beyond environment.
Yes.
And incorporate also the social and the governance. So if you look at the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, hindi lang environment yun. Marami doon about social and governance also.
Yes. Where can we see the resources? Maybe our listeners can also make some research. Saan nila makikita?
Where do we go?
United Nations is an excellent resource for this, especially on 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Inner Development Goals has its own website. Google lang yun, Green Comp.
Oh, okay.
Ayun, sir. One final question before we go. What's your thought on the rise of what we call as the green collar movement? Yung,
Green collar movement.
yes, mga businesses geared towards, anything that's green or sustainable.
Yeah. So when you say green, I'd like to look at that in the figurative sense. Diba? It's not only about the real color, but what it represents, what it means. So I strongly support and encourage that. Our recommendation though, is the green is somehow associated with environment.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to expand the thinking that green is not only about the environment, it's also about other areas of sustainability, like, as I said, the social and the governance, and the entire 17 sustainable development goals. So especially among what these big companies can do is to rechannel also their corporate social responsibility programs towards educating and helping the micro and small to medium enterprises, because 99.5% of the business enterprises come from this sector, and they don't usually have the means to put together a decent culture building program. They would need certainly external help. So if these companies can turn green internally and pass it on to the other smaller enterprises, so I can imagine what a better society we will have, not only in the Philippines.
Thank you so much, Sir June.
So go for green.
Go for green. It's been an enlightening discussion with you, Ms. Joan.
That's right. Yeah.
Your thoughts before we go?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sir June, for sharing your perspectives with us. And thank you for enlightening us. I agree with Sir Joe. It's encompassing more than what we initially thought it would cover. And it's a good advocacy to push for.
Dagdagan ko yung basurahan ko. Para sa So, thank you once again. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the annual conference of PMAP is happening October 25 to 27. That's the 60th. It's Rebirth 6.0, and it's happening in Cebu City. So book your flights ahead. It's happening, the 60th conference of PMAP. I hope you'll all join us here in Cebu. Ms. Joan?
That's right. And thank you. Thank you, Sir June. And thank you also to our team behind the scenes, Sir Martin Alcantara, Ms. Sarah Lingua, and of course, our president, Ms. Beth Nasol. This has been People Watch. Perspectives matter.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.